There are a lot of videos about conspiracies at the Denver International Airport, but very few of those videos are actually shot at the airport to show you where these things actually are. And thanks to my friends at CityCast Denver, we're gonna go underneath the airport into those tunnels that millions of people have wondered about to see what's actually going on underneath Denver International Airport.
Charles Ansbacher was the co-chair of the New World Airport Commission, the commission that planned the opening festivities and party for the airport back in 1994, 1995. And this is the origin, allegedly, of the New World Order rumor, because the name of that committee sounds a lot like New World Order. Now, they say his committee is defunct and it went away. They disbanded after the airport opened and the parties happened, but that's just what they say.
And that's one of the conspiracy theories about the airport that has been fairly firmly debunked. This was an organization that was temporarily in existence. A lot of YouTubers say that this thing never existed, and that is not true. So one of the things that a lot of people talk about is the capstone and time capsule. If you come to the Denver airport, this is actually at the south end of the airport. If you are local, you probably know this as where South Security used to be. So if you want to check it out, it's just right here on the ground, right by the windows on the south side of the terminal.
So here we are at the time capsule capstone. This was placed here upon the completion of the construction of the airport, which was first authorized, funded in the 80s, and then it went forward in the early 90s. And there was this organization that was created to plan a big party, festivities. This group was called the New World Airport Commission. They planned this party, despite the construction being delayed, still went forward in 1993. Now, do we know why construction was delayed? No, we don't. Does it have something to do with this time capsule? Maybe. All we know about this time capsule is some of the things that were put in it. I did a lot of research on this. It includes former Mayor Wellington Webb's sneakers. He was the mayor at the time that the airport opened. You'll see his name on here.
That was his brand, by the way.
Big brand when he was campaigning.
He walked the city.
Big walker. There is a baseball in here from Coors Field, which opened around this time. A few Blackhawk casino tokens. But all it says on the website where I found this was among other items. We don't know what else is in here. When this opens in 2095, we don't know what's coming out.
Exploded can of Coors Light, probably.
Waste dumpster. Let's open her up. We're free.
Just thinking, maybe an old Rocky Mountain News that's been now soiled. Maybe this is from an experience that my family has had with time capsules. I'm just saying. So the New World Airport Commission is that group.
Yes.
But this is also what ties into the conspiracy theories, the Leo Tanguma murals, which we'll talk about later. But that is a contention or sticking point for folks, is that the New World Order and the New World Airport may be one and the same.
Yeah, so I don't understand exactly where that started. I think it's just because the words sound the same.
I was gonna say, branding-wise, it also just sounds fun.
Or maybe the wrong person said the wrong thing one night late at a bar and the secret got out. But somehow people connected this to the New World Order, and then that's where this whole like secret society rumor started about the whole Denver airport.
Yes.
In its entirety.
Also, I love that someone's toddler has maybe color on that.
Well, maybe what they were, it could have been a toddler having some fun, but it could have also been a Mason. This is the Masonic logo here. And some people say that if you are a Mason and you use your Masonic like member card and you place it over the right part of this capstone, that this will actually open up and reveal some secret only Masons can access.
Yeah, and similarly to that, there's actually this part that's written in Braille up here. And I have heard that some Freemasons will come here and try and push these in the right sequence, hoping that it'll open up. No one has done it yet. I think that's something that is fascinating about this too. A lot of people point this out in other videos, is if you add up these numbers, they add up to the number 33, which is a very important number.
What is that?
For Freemasons, I believe it's the highest degree, the highest rank that they can make, the number 33. And the part that's interesting about this is that the airport actually opened on February 28th, but they changed it so that it would add up to number 33, despite the fact that the airport actually opened on February 28th.
That's genuinely intriguing.
Yeah.
I think we need to find Benjamin H. Bell Jr. or his descendants, because he's a Grandmaster. Oh, there's also another gentleman over
Claude W. Gray. I did have one thing I wanted to try though. So I read that you could use a Masonic member card to open this thing up. Couldn't get access to the Masons. They wouldn't let me in, but I have another thing. This is my credit card. I thought I might try to swipe this just in case, you know. I mean, money talks.
I might try.
It might not take American.
Yeah, I don't know tap to pay if it was around in 94, but
Are we seeing anything?
the sequence
I
things we
just
might.
want a Braille reader to tell us what this really says.
Oh, that would be amazing. And something else that's really interesting is that this room that we're in right now is considered the Great Hall, and meeting rooms for Freemasons are referred to as Great Halls. And so it's not a coincidence that the people who have their symbol here on this capstone and on the time capsule have the exact same name as this room in the airport. So a lot of people talk about these gargoyles at the Denver airport, and they are by the baggage claim area. You gotta look up. I think a lot of people do miss them. I think that one of the most interesting conspiracy theories that I've heard about them, people claim that he's coming out of a Samsonite briefcase. So it actually does say Samsonite, which is an anagram for Mason site. Coming off of what we just saw at the capstone, that would make a lot of sense. So why would you have a branded briefcase that happens to have a company's name on it for something that was going to be here kind of for eternity?
These gargoyles, there was this guy and there was one that would talk to you up by the baggage claim. They were installed by the administration run by former DIA CEO Kim Day, who loved the conspiracy theories, embraced all of this stuff. And so she started putting up signs and advertisements around the construction area that were like funny. Hey, what's behind this wall? Is it Illuminati? Or, hey, look, there actually is a gargoyle. There's no secrets here. There's one right here. And this is a technique known as flooding the zone to distract from what's really going on.
And much to my disappointment, I think that Greg is no longer here. I have actually never seen him. With the number of times that I've taken flights out of this airport, the gargoyle that talks to you was apparently a marketing thing. He's not around the airport on a regular basis because I've been wondering how I've been missing him all this time. And if you want to see this gargoyle in particular, we are on the west side of the airport near baggage claim 16 on level 5. This is an easy one to check out if you're ever at the airport and you haven't caught one of these gargoyles before.
We're heading into the tunnels right now. Creepy.
We are headed to the very end where the train that goes out to the concourse is dead ends. And this are the remnants of the old baggage system when the airport was built.
That never was used, right?
It was used. No, it was used. They actually fixed it, had it up and running. It was just incredibly expensive because it was well beyond its time. And so the airport abandoned it because it was too costly to keep going.
So we just went down under DIA. It is huge. I mean, people say that this place is a maze of tunnels, and it absolutely is.
I read that after FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Authority, was created in 1979, word got around some right-wing, militant, extremist groups that FEMA had a secret plan to round up U.S. citizens in camps and keep them. Maybe people who the government didn't like, you know? And I heard that this is one of those places here at the Denver International Airport.
I'm not sure at that time this was even envisioned. So the airport came about later in the 80s. Governor Roy Romer, Federico Pena then started campaigning for a new airport primarily because of all of the noise problems at Stapleton, right? When you have all of these houses crowded in so close to a major airport, the airport had no ability to grow. People that lived there were upset about the noise. The airport was spending a lot to mitigate the noise. And so they had this vision to move it outside the city where it had the ability to become the greatest and best airport in the world by buying enough land to contain primarily the airport noise. And that's where we are today. And look at us now. Stapleton was, 30 million, 35 million. And last year we were at 82.3 million passengers.
Wow.
And I think there's some details around that that are still suspicious to a lot of people. Like Federico Pena, who was mayor at the time the airport was planned, went on to become Secretary of Transportation for the U.S. government, the federal government, right? And then we know, because the airport construction was delayed, that the federal government, we needed some of their money to help finish the job. So what did they pay for? What did they get in return?
Funding for the airport was done well before Federico became Secretary of Transportation. But I will say, yes, we've heard them. We've heard that there's underground bunkers here to take care of the world's elite.
You said we can't go over there. So is that where you're housing the world's elite? And possibly the tunnel to get over to Cheyenne Mountain, where maybe the other bunker is?
I think behind that door, you would be woefully disappointed to see that it's a bunch of people working on trains and sitting in an operations center, because we all know the feedback we get when the train stops for even 10 minutes. So their whole job is to do what they can to keep this train up and running.
This is a huge facility, though. Is there any kind of emergency management, response, assistance capacity that the airport could serve? And
I think that the difficulty for the airport is, right, you're in secure areas right now. So you can't just open it up if there's an emergency, right? There's still security concerns for our national airspace. And so I think the bigger issue probably is just the amount of property that we have if there was some sort of incident, right? 53 square miles of land lets you do some things, right, to take care of problems, if you will.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting that there's nothing to see here and we're only an airport.
Okay.
Is there anything down in these tunnels that would surprise us in terms of I heard that the airport has its own morgue.
The morgues you wouldn't be able to see, and even the morgue, I would say, it's not as you would picture on TV. It's more just a room with a table. Accidents happen on flights. People get sick, so we always want to make sure that we're being respectful of those types of situations and making sure that, the proper health authorities can get here easily. But definitely that you'll see a lot of baggage system and people moving bags.
The predecessor CEO, Kim Day, she embraced this stuff.
Yes.
Does Phil Washington get a kick out of this, the conspiracies?
I think Phil Washington just goes with the flow.
One question that I had was just around the timing of the building of the airport. So I believe at the time, at least everyone on YouTube believes, that the Denver airport, the Stapleton version, was the 20th busiest airport in the United States at the time. Moving it to build the largest airport in terms of landmass in the US at that period of time seemed a little extreme. We have the longest runway in the United States, which everybody thinks is a little bit of overkill, maybe they could be used for something else. The timing just seems a little odd, also with the closing of the Greenbrier Hotel, where Congress could go, closed in the same year that DIA opened. Is that just all coincidence? Because it seems like a few too many coincidences all at the same time.
It's absolutely a coincidence. I think timing is what it is. I think people looked at the airport, said, we're fed up with Stapleton. It can't grow. It can't get any bigger. We want our city to be more. And here we are.
20th busiest airport. So building the largest one in the United States is like a minor league baseball team building the greatest stadium on the planet. That always just felt a little unusual to me, just in terms of the timing. But would you say it's just good planning?
It's very, very visionary. But think about it. Imagine if we would have still had Stapleton, we'd be like the 90th busiest airport in the world today.
Probably true.
Is the New World Airport Commission actually defunct?
That's a weird one, isn't it? I don't know that there was ever really an official commission. It was sort of a group of people that came together to plan the opening of the airport. And so we always talked about it. It's not like the New World Order, the New World Airport. It's more like the New World Airport, right? If you put the emphasis there, it makes a little bit more sense.
Another thing, we're obviously in this huge network of tunnels right now. It's enormous. We've only seen a fraction of it. I heard that 110 million cubic yards of earth were moved to dig up and create space for this airport. People have done the math. It seems like a perfect amount of earth to move to make it all the way down to Cheyenne Mountain. From all estimates, people say that way too much earth was moved to build this airport. Did it go down deeper? There have been rumors that there are actually 8 floors compared to 6 floors for this airport. Is there something that we're not seeing?
What's surprising about this airport is its mass. right? Are there areas we haven't seen? Sure, there's areas I haven't been, but I've been pretty nosy about snooping around the place since I started here because of those types of questions. I have not seen anything.
I have more. Is Phil Washington a member of the New World Airport Commission?
Phil Washington has not indicated that to me.
Is Phil Washington a Mason?
Phil Washington has not indicated that to me.
Will Phil Washington find any of this amusing in any way?
I hope Phil Washington finds this amusing in some way, considering that he's my boss.
One thing that a lot of YouTubers have said and believe is that President Obama was actually brought here when there was a threat of a comet hitting the Earth. Everybody would have thought that he would have went to Cheyenne Mountain instead, but the rumor is that President Obama ended up here. I don't know where he would have stayed. Maybe there is a suite here that we're not seeing, but can you confirm or deny if that actually happened?
I saw photos of Obama looking at some of our artwork, and I asked about it, like, oh, Obama was here, and everyone laughed at me because apparently those photos are not real. And I even started to fall for that. From my understanding, Obama has not visited this airport.
For that reason, for the extinction event that he was trying to avoid.
Are there any of these conspiracy theories that you're like, okay, that one's actually true?
You know, I do like hearing a lot about the aliens because, right, you hear pilots having sightings of that. You hear that sort of communication. I don't get the tie to the airport, but it's a fun one. I actually buy into that one and think.
Was it difficult to interview with the reptilians that are underneath the airport?
That's how we get our secret access card,
Yeah.
right? They've all been incredibly friendly.
So the original baggage system was installed and was used, but was just not ever what it needed.
Yeah, it had its share of problems. You know, it took a ton of maintenance. They'd get it up and running. It'd have problems. I mean, it was a really sophisticated system for the time, and it just never quite worked correctly. And they kept investing in it, and finally realized, why are we throwing good money after bad?
Yeah.
When we can do it this way and then save us a lot.
So this blue part is
The new baggage system.
okay. Oh, this is where the planes are?
Yeah. You'll see right up here, it just opens up to the outside.
How long does it take someone who works at the airport to become familiar with this? Because everything looks the same to me. And are there actual landmarks? Like, how do people get used to this?
I mean, there's some. You start to just kind of know your way after a time, right? You know, we were on the west side. You know what the east side is. So if you're going down the west side, you know, the concourses are going to go a certain direction as compared to the other. So you get used to it. And there's some labeling, some signage.
I noticed something. I read in the Denver Post that some people have observed strange markings around the Denver International Airport. And some people think this is an alien language or a secret language. Others say it's Navajo characters.
Yes.
I saw some strange markings on the drive we just made. Can you tell me what these are? This marking? These are all over the tunnel.
They're just probably emergency exits, right? Isn't that what that is?
I mean, they're like, what, every 50 feet, and they're all different.
Yeah, they're all emergency and probably utility signs of caution, beware, but you're a little blurry, so, and I don't have my glasses on, so I can't tell exactly what.
What is this strange marking?
It feels like the word exit also could have sufficed there too, if there was actually an emergency exit.
Awfully strange, Bree.
I don't know.
That's the receipt from lunch. That's not strange.
Know what that looks like. Most of the markings that people talk about are in the floor on the concourse level.
Tell me those.
There's some Native American words from the original art program when the flooring was
In the floor? Where would I find those?
on concourse B. I mean, there's a few words that are kind of built into the terrazzo.
Oh.
And it's all Native American artwork. But there was a lot of indigenous art and things focused on different cultures when the airport was built. I mean, this whole airport really started the art program for the city of Denver, started right here. And so all of this art that was put in when the airport was built or soon after, like Mustang, all had different meanings. And that's what you see, a lot of different diversity of the artists, different stories that they're telling.
And you're talking about the 1% for Art program where capital projects have to devote 1% to artwork, which makes sense why we have so much concentrated here at DIA because it was such a large ongoing project.
Right, that's exactly what happened. So when it was built originally, there were really big, robust artworks put into flooring, into the centers of the concourses. As we get squeezed for space now, it's a lot harder. You're seeing a lot of our art now go in the ceiling and other spaces because of the operational concerns on the ground.
This reminds me, there's a piece that's obviously part of this huge conspiracy theory conversation with Leo Tenguma's The Children of the World Dream of Peace. It has been in storage, I think, since 2018. Do you know the whereabouts of it and when it might reappear?
It's in an art storage warehouse with all of our other pieces that are in right now. That piece will be back in 2027, I believe, at the end of the project. So we're in the final stages of the terminal. That's one of those key corridors that at the very end of the project. We're going to have it come back. We're very excited about that piece. That's the source of a lot of these conspiracies, is that piece alone.
Yes, I was reading about it online last night and watching some interviews with Leo, and the conspiracy theories are around the content of the mural, which, if you look at the history of his work, he paints a lot about human struggle, the effects of war, and that's what he says is depicted in this mural, is that the big gas masked figure is war, and then the children are bringing all of the weapons down to be sort of melted into a plowshare, is what he says. But conspiracy theorists say this is part of actually the New World Order, or the New World Airport conspiracy, and where that connects with the Illuminati, and that this imagery has something to do with that. And I read that he said that this has actually been a really detrimental conspiracy theory to his work, because it's so opposite of what he feels it's actually about. Like, people are really missing the point.
Yeah, isn't that sad?
It's one of the saddest things I learned about this conspiracy theory is the impact it actually had on the artist himself. He said he lost some commissions because of these conspiracy theories, and that he's been so misrepresented in his work and the history of Chicano muralism and what it's actually used for, which is to tell these grand stories. So I think keeping it being held on is that it's disappeared, right? People think that it's intentionally been taken away and we may never see it again. But you're saying the reality is really it's just in storage.
It is. It's storage so that we can protect it, because we love the piece and we can't wait to bring him back, because he has two pieces here at the airport. We're proud of both. The other, has an amazing sustainability and environmental message. And both of them tell a beautiful story of humanity, of how we should be, right? When things are right, when there's not conflict, when there's not war. Absolutely, they're coming back, and we're going to be really proud to unveil them again.
It sounds like the company line has been that a lot of art was created by local artists, and there was not influence from DIA about which types of art would show up. Even when we were planning this, getting ready for this video, it felt like seeing those pieces of art was something that was off limits. So it's interesting to hear that they're coming back, and that they will be back very soon. Will Greg be back?
He will not be back. Well, unfortunately, he was an animatronic gargoyle, had a shelf life. We did that just for a fun promotion and kept him out for a while, and now he's not in a usable, talkable condition.
One of my favorite conspiracy theories related to the gargoyles is how they're sitting in Samsonite briefcases, which is an anagram for Masonite. It always seemed a little bit odd that gargoyle is placed very close to the time capsule that also has the Mason symbol on it.
They weren't particularly close. They were just in the center of the terminal, one on each side. So, and the time capsule can move around anywhere. The time capsule is more of a question of where do we put it, just because of space.
Yeah.
But the gargoyles, no, they're there in the center of baggage claim, to be the protectors of lost luggage. They're there looking out for you.
In the modern era, we have a lot of construction going on at the airport. Some people might be wondering why things continue to be delayed, but it's also a very huge project. Do you think that the current construction has spawned a new wave of conspiracy theories about things that might be happening? What are some of those conspiracies that you might have heard?
We got a little bit of that when the Westin was under construction. Why did it have to be built so deep? What are we hiding in the hotel? There was a little bit of that just kind of expanded the whole underground bunker storage for the New World Order and the world's elite. Right now, we haven't heard as much. I think there's more of a sense of, before we came out with what the renderings were going to look like, people really weren't understanding what was taking so long, and more questions about what are they doing, thinking that there was some other construction going on underneath that we were just covering up above.
correct me if I'm wrong, in the train under the airport, there are some fans that resemble like a sickle compared to like a normal fan shape. Is there a story behind that?
Another public art piece, you see the fans, but then there's also some old mining equipment, like a sickle, that type of thing that's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, you know, for us, we need to spend some time in there and get it cleaned and freshened, but it's very hard with that train running, you know, almost 24 hours a day, as lit as it used to be in the past, but we have a lot of great photos of what it should look like.
Strange marking. They don't have that at the grocery store. I mean, it's not at the grocery store. He claims that those are at the grocery store.
Like their QR code for a real tailor or something.
No one's gonna notice you would hide this.
This video wouldn't have been possible without my friends at CityCast Denver, along with the team here at Denver International Airport. So thank you so much to both of you guys for making this happen. If you want to check out a video where we actually got to get up close and personal with Lucifer, check out this video over here. If you need help getting around the Denver International Airport above ground, check out this video over here. And I'll add a video here and here to help you find food and fun in the city.